Hello everyone, I'm the Connoisseur, and welcome to the first episode of this Thinky in My Head series. I honestly don't know if I'm going to continue doing this. I wanted this to be a little bit of a pilot to see how hard it takes to work on it, and basically if it was worth it. I would like to say that for those who read the original journal that this is based off of on DeviantArt, I made this a year ago. I'm not entirely sure if you remember it. If you don't, then this will be a nice refresher, and I hope that you all enjoy. That being said, I think that this series might do well, and I actually recorded this very episode, but I used some video that I found on YouTube and it was very unfair, and I realized that if I used the vectors that I've been given and I searched for some Google images, it would go nicely, it would be more personal, I would work hard, which would mean that I would be more proud, and I think that all in all, it's going to be a really nice experience and a really nice way of just, teaching some morals and giving some examples that I've gone through so that you know that you're not alone and that maybe something will inspire you to do better in life. For those of you who don't know, I'm someone who thinks to myself and talks to myself in my head, or sometimes out loud, both to calm me down and to organize myself. I don't think it as weird as much as I think of it as rather intelligent, and not in a boastful way. Anyway, I think something I've noticed in my real life, at school especially, is, well, couples. Now don't get me wrong, I'm super happy for others' happiness. I really am. In fact, that's something I just feel good about in general, such as when Summer is away, but for a good reason, like she's at a fair, or she's working, or something. That kind of happiness reflects on me as I think to myself, I'm just glad she's enjoying the day, rather than sulking or having to deal with something. It sounds like a little thing, maybe, but I take it as something a lot of people take for granted now. I think everyone should feel a little happier when someone they know, or don't know, is happy. Now, this happiness can result in one of two things, jealousy or hopefulness. Being an optimist, I would like to think that people should lean towards hopefulness, but reality unfortunately leads people down a worse path. Now, why am I writing this now? Again, I wrote this a year ago. I just felt like after noticing the same thing every other day at lunch, and more so with 2 new bus riders on my bus, that I wanted to share it with you all. No. It's not about to get all lovey-dovey or anything, it's going to get philosophical. Every other day during lunch I sit with a couple of friends, who frankly I think are meant to be, and besides them saying it's more of a brother-sister bond, I still believe that to be true. And behind me is a table, and, if the world wants to test my strength, has 2 to 3 couples sitting there every time. And one of these couples are extremely romantic. I'm talking kissing and hugging and leaning on each other and lots of things. Actually, recently a teacher warned them twice that other people are trying to eat, or something along the lines of that. And in all honesty, this was not the thing that got me to talk to you all today. However, it was something that I was, 1, happy for, and 2, in a way, wished that they would stop, being noisy and all. Though in all honesty, they were a bit trashy, and when I mean that, I mean that they acted and dressed not to school standards, and, were talking a little rudely. They were just, a little off than the usual couple. Like I said, though, what got me to talk to you right now were the 2 new people on my bus today who sat across from me. And in all honesty, this is more of the couple I would want to have, if I did have one, which I do now, and here's why. Despite the way they dressed, for example, she had very dark makeup, and he was wearing earrings, which I personally wouldn't do, they acted very nice to each other. For instance, she was on the end of the seat, against the window, leaning her legs on his lap and being cuddly. And I sort of liked that. It looked like she really felt safe around him, and he enjoyed it as well. I was truly happy for the both of them. But like the title of the video says, my head was thinking those 2 options as I mentioned before. Are you happy for them and content, or do you wish to have what they have? I'd like to think it's a bit of both, and I sure don't want to be jealous. However, how can I not when it is something that I wanted at the time? Perhaps jealousy is too strong a word. Perhaps I'm just hopeful for the future. Hopeful that someday out there, what I want can happen. Not by being jealous, but by being hopeful. And of course I would like to think that this is a mutual amount of work put in from both sides to achieve this dream. Somewhere out there is someone who likes this kind of couple as well. And some people are out there who like the more feisty couple like the one I saw at my lunch period. To each their own. But be it as it may be, I don't think that achieving your hopes before you pass away means that it was an impossible task to accomplish. Sure, it might be impossible then, but it might not have been impossible for others. What I'm trying to say is, I have hopes. These hopes come from both people I know and people I do not know, but have seen. And I can do all I can financially, mentally, and physically to make that hope come true, if it is a strong and desirable one. And everything I'm saying I can do applies to you, to everyone who has a hope. And to anyone who is jealous of someone or something else, just think of it in a positive light, as a hope, and something that you can work to make come true. I thank you for your time.